Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Check It Out, the library talk show that lets you know what's going on in and around the Bethel Park Public Library. As you may have noticed already, we are on location today, thrilled to be at AMF Mount Lebanon Lanes. Joining us this evening is Lynn Field, former manager here at AMF for 12 years, but once she retired, she just could not stay away.
No.
Right? So she is now a certified coach. She teaches some classes here. She does some event planning, heads up tournaments, and also helps out with the summer reading program, Book and Bowl, which we have been proud partners for the last 5 years, I think.
More than that.
Maybe even more than that,
Absolutely.
8 years. Wow. So we are thrilled to be talking to her here this evening. She has fascinating information for you on the history of bowling. And in just a little bit, we'll also get to tour the facility and kind of get a behind-the-scenes look of what a day at the bowling alley looks like. But first, I know you brought something with you today, Lynn, didn't you?
Oh, I did. But before I do that, I want to say hi to Christine.
Hello, how are you?
It's been so nice to see you again. Our Book and Bowl program that you mentioned was actually, I originated it. I'm an educator by profession, and I absolutely believe in books. So the library is a favorite place. We have 7 libraries participating in our program. And just to prove that you're in a bowling center, I brought my pin.
Ta-da!
Here's my da-da-da. Here's my bowling pin. Now I want to tell you something about this. These pins are the authentic pins that appear in the pen deck down at the end of the lane. They are covered with a synthetic material developed by DuPont. Very smooth, but it's rubberized. Tap it, Christine. See how it's resilient?
Yeah.
On the inside, we have a maple wood core. The entire pin is wood. So the bounceability comes from the outside. The bang comes from the inside.
I never knew that. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Love my pin.
Of course you do. And we appreciate your support, and we appreciate you being with us here today. Why don't you start by telling our viewers the history of the game?
The history of bowling is absolutely fascinating. It covers so long a period of time. Actually, every sport has a history, but bowling begins in the Stone Ages. We can start with a caveman who took some pillars, wood, and a rock, and he knocked down the pins for recreation. And where am I getting that information? From the walls of his cave. The petroglyphs show that recreation for a caveman was bowling. Now we move from there to Babylonia. And in ancient Babylonia, they developed another system. They took their excess fruit and vegetables, lined them up, and they threw a rock at them, and they kept score. Now, more sophisticated, we move into Egypt. Now, the Egyptians have quite a history of bowling. As many of you know, when a pharaoh died, he had a pyramid built for him, and he took all the things that he enjoyed in life to enjoy in the afterlife. Some of them included horses and soldiers and jewelry and gold and perhaps a couple wives, but also marble pillars and a pig's bladder filled with stone and a tablet on the side that he could keep score. Amazing. And we have proof of that. 5 different archaeological digs have shown that there was evidence of bowling. Now to move on from there, we go into Rome with Julius Caesar. Now he had legions of soldiers, and after fighting and marching all day, in camp, they bowled. And unfortunately, it was a rowdy group, and there had to be restrictions. At this time, bowling was only 9 pins, and that means that with 9 pins, an odd number, you have gambling, which continued through the years. Now, when we move from the ancient Egyptian population, we move into another culture, and we move into Italy. Now, Italy had a form of bowling, and they still do today. It's called bocce. Their pins are shorter, squat, and they have a wooden ball. No holes for a thumb, nothing. They just project the ball forward. There are competitive bocce leagues. There are some here. Matter of fact, there is a very prominent one right in Dormont. And if you ever pass the Dormont Park on a summer evening, you'll see a group of older gentlemen playing bocce. From Italy, then we move to Germany. Germany, they had the best type of bowling. The German bowlers were called keglers, and the reason is every team had a keg of beer, and Germans love beer, so of course they were the keglers, and they were very happy with their game. Now from there we move into London, and in the history books, actually 700 years ago, we have evidence of bowling on the green. Now that was done outdoors, and everyone did it, but inside, in the official British library, they show that in 1455, that the nobility bowled inside. It was a very select group. The king and his court and the ladies were the only ones involved, and they did not share their scores with anyone. They kept that secret. Now we move to a very eventful day when Sir Walter Drake was completing an exceptionally good game. He was only 2 frames from the end of his game. It probably was a 300 game. And he received the message that the Spanish Armada was out in the English Channel, and the Queen had ordered him to go forth and strike. And his reply was, "Not until I finish my game." And he did. He finished the 2 frames, went out and defeated the Spanish Armada, but always blamed that as the reason that he did not have a 300 game. Now we move into America, and the Dutch settlers brought bowling to the United States. Now Washington Irving, in his story of Rip Van Winkle, talks about Rip Van Winkle spending a very busy afternoon bowling on the green in the hot sun. And of course he had to lie down under a tree to rest, and we know what happened to him after that. Bowling has had so many changes over the years. The Connecticut legislature in 1840 was so upset about the predominant gambling with the 9 pins that they issued an order that from now on they have to have 10 pins in order to bowl. Even number, you can't bet, and 9-pin bowling was completely outlawed. All this time, someone had to set up the pins, someone had to arrange them, and people were working, of course, on trying to make things easier, an invention of some kind. Well, Fred Schmidt, in his turkey house, now Fred Schmidt was a pattern maker and a factory engineer, and he lived in New Jersey, and he decided that he had the perfect answer to bowling, a pin spotter. So he assembled metal lampshades, bicycle parts, chains. Oh, it was quite a contraption that he put together. And scraps from the factory floor. He was able to develop a pin spotter. And that pin spotter was the beginning of our automation. Later on, I'll show you the lanes, but I want to impress on you what he actually did. He had a patent in 1936, and it took him 3 years of knocking on doors of banks. If this was right after the Depression, the banks were not going to give an independent person the money to build his own factory and develop a pin spotter. So we went to Brunswick. Brunswick was the leader of the pack, so to speak, at the time, and he sold his patent. Very fortunately, they appreciated his innovation and they appreciated his ability. They made him the project manager, and for about a year, they worked on the pin spotter. And then, of course, 39, remember, came the war. So the entire country mobilized for the war, and they had to support the war effort. Now it's 1947, and finally we're coming back. Fred has passed away by this time. His invention is there. AMF, which we are, you're at AMF Mount Lebanon Lanes today. AMF was American Machine and Foundry, and they actually manufactured the parts behind the scene. Now they were becoming involved in bowling centers. And at this time, they, of course, patents run out after 10 years. You can't improve them. And they did an improvement on the patent, and they went into the business. So it's 1947. We're in full-blown modernization, and we have 2 competitors out there, and the pin spotter is working. 1951, the entire country had bowling equipment that enabled you to go in and bowl without someone sitting on top of the rack, putting in pins, and being paid 10 cents a game. That is the history of bowling. We have today over 100,000 people per year that belong to leagues, not to mention the amount of activity with fundraisers and tournaments and other activity. Bowling is a big sport, and it's something to really be interested in. Thank you.
Well, then that's a great history of bowling. I didn't realize some of that. I didn't know it was 9-pin at one point. So,
well, I have so much more that I want to share with you. Would you like to have the experience of bowling?
absolutely.
We would love to.
Okay, not that I'm going to ask you to bowl today, but I would love to tell you all the little things that are involved and share that with your audience.
Let's do
So
it.
that when they come into the center, they know exactly what to do.
Absolutely. Sounds like a
Okay.
plan. Okay, so here we are at the front desk, and we are ready to bowl, Lynn. What's our first step?
Well, I'm going to take you through the bowling experience and explain a few things to you. The first thing you do when you walk in the door is you come to the desk. This is the control center. We have a computer, and Emily runs. This is Emily, and she runs the computer. Emily is a manager here, and all our managers are college educated, and they have to be because of our computerized system. Everything is computerized. We have robots that take care of the lanes and oil the lanes. We are up on modern technology, believe me. But now you have to get your shoes.
Yes, and so I'm a size 7.
I'm a size 8.
All right, Emily, if you would, please. Now, when you receive your shoes, you're going to see that they have leather soles, and they also have rubber heels. The leather soles enable you to slide, and the rubber soles stop you, or the rubber heels stop you from sliding too far. Now, after we leave this location, we go to the ballroom, and here you're going to get your ball. Now we have entered the ballroom, And balls go anywhere from 6 pounds to 16 pounds.
So
Now,
do you know which one to choose?
the first thing you do is you consider your weight. Your ball should be, and I'm not going to ask you, your ball should be 10% of your weight. So I weigh 100 pounds, so my ball would be a 10-pound ball. But I find it difficult to use the 10-pound ball,
Right.
so I prefer a 9, even an 8.
Okay.
So select your ball, but also be careful of the thumb.
Yeah.
When you put the thumb in, make sure that you have enough space that it isn't too loose and that you don't drop the ball. The important thing is that it doesn't leave your hand. And also the span fits well. So place your hand into the hole. That's correct. And you found the correct ball, you're comfortable with it, because if it's too loose, you're going to drop it. And if it's too tight, you're going to go down the lane with it.
Okay. I think we got
Okay,
our balls.
all right. We have now arrived on the lanes. And the lane is the wood surface. It is 60 feet long and 42 inches wide. Now, notice that there is a configuration of arrows, and they point, they're inverted, and the arrows point to the pins. That is a pin deck down there where all the pins are located. I had previously showed you a pin.
Right.
Pin is 3.5 pounds. So you have 10 of them up there, and that means that ball that you selected is going to have to be projected with force toward 35 pounds. Now, on either side of the lane, you have gutters. Gutters can be a problem, especially right, especially for young children. So we put up bumpers, and the bumpers stop the balls from going into the gutter. And you can't have them. You're too old.
I was going to say, can I please have
No, you cannot.
Can I ask a question about the arrows? I remember
Yes.
back in college, and I can't remember who told me. Are you supposed to keep your eye in that center one, or is it better to line it up with the one?
The one to the
outside?
right if you're right-handed, the one to the left if you are left-handed,
Okay.
because you want to put the ball into the pocket. Now, the balls, when it hits the pocket, spreads the pins completely.
Gotcha.
And the pin configuration is a 1-pin or head pin first, then reading like a book, 2 and 3, 4, 5, and 6, and the last is 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
So that is the pattern of your ball. You want to be on the side of the head pin on the right if you're right-handed. You want to be on the side of the left if you're left-handed.
And you're left-handed.
Then
And I'm right.
you're in the pocket,
Okay.
and that spreads the pins. Now, the surface of this particular lane, and we call them lanes, we no longer call them alleys. All our terminology has been updated.
Changed,
Absolutely. People call these channels instead of gutters. They call that thing that comes down, they call it a lifter or whatever. It's the sweep. That's called the sweep that picks up the pins. If you have any problems on the lanes, you should always inform the desk. You have communication right at the station and right behind you where you enter your names, and the desk will take care of any needs that you have. Let me explain about the lanes, because this is most interesting. The boards on the lane are 1 inch apart, and this is a synthetic surface. So just like wood, years ago we had wood lanes. They were actually faster, but there was a problem with them. They had a problem with temperature and humidity. So as we advanced, with wear and tear. Years ago, they would have to be resurfaced. This is not the case. These have a laminate, and that is a synthetic surface. There's a photograph of the wood on top of the laminate. In the morning and just before league play, very important before league play, we condition the lanes. We have a robot, and that robot is a machine that goes down the lane and it dispenses the proper amount of oil.
And I always wondered how.
And it is computerized. The person in charge of maintenance takes care of the robot, sets them on the lanes, and he just proceeds.
And how long does that whole process take for him to do each?
It takes a good hour. We have 52 lanes in this house, so we're a large house.
So I imagine you do that once before you open,
And then about 5 o'clock before the evening leagues come in. This is a house that has many, many leagues, and we have to have perfect surface for them because our leagues bowl for money. Now, notice the dots. This tells you if you had to come to the line and you wanted to throw the ball, this is where you would stand. But you never cross the foul line. Notice the line here that says foul line. You never cross that. Now, if you want to start further back, this is a series of dots that tell you where to stand, or you can stand back here. And now that, Dan, now that I'm back here, would you like to explain something about how they would get started with the new equipment?
show us your technique.
Sure, I'll do that. When we teach bowlers how to bowl, you have dots on the lanes, on the approach. The approach is where they stand. And the dots match, being that they're on the same board. So if I would run this board back all the way here, it's going to be to this dot, and likewise to that dot. So this is basically your starting point, where you want to start your process of throwing the ball. Right. But the dots kind of keep you in focus, so when you go up to throw your ball, you want to finish at the same area where the dot is as you started. That lets you know whether you wavered or not going up. And then secondly, when you're focused on out on the lane, there are arrows out there. These arrows is what your eyes should focus on. That is what you aim at when you bowl. You don't even look at the pins. So, depending on how the bowler bowls, they will find out from their starting point which arrow they want to focus on and look at and throw their ball over to get it to where they want to go into the pocket of pins. And with that, after I've thrown my first ball, there may be pins left. Okay, so if the pins are left on the left side as I'm looking at them, I'm going to still hit my same mark when I throw the ball, but I'll adjust where I start from. So that way, and this is how I teach everybody, if I move this way and hit my mark, my ball is going to go that way. If I move this way and hit my mark, the ball will go that way. So that is how you, in essence, pick up your spares or the rest of the pins that are left. And that's the whole concept of throwing the ball. But you got to focus on that mark. It's in any sport. If you're a baseball player, you're watching the ball the whole way from the pitcher's hand. You're not really worried about how you're swinging the bat. Your focus is on that ball. A basketball player focuses on the rim when they're shooting the ball. They're not worried about what they're doing up to that point. Same way with bowling. You're not really overly concerned with what you're doing. You're focused on that mark, and you want to throw your ball over that mark where those arrows are.
I'm going to add one little thing, that those triangular, that pattern, the inverted pattern that we have here with the arrows, that is a quarter of the way down the lane. So you're actually 40 feet at that point. that you're going to be concentrating on the delivery of the ball.
Right, and it's so much easier to aim at something closer to you than trying to aim at a pin that's 60 feet away. You're only aiming at something that's 20 feet away. A lot easier to do that.
Would you like to explain about the new equipment that we have? We've had people come in recently and they look stunned. They don't see the old console.
Okay, all right, yes. We have new bowling monitors. Well, those are actually the monitors, but a scoring system. This is the latest, greatest scoring system from Cubica, and it's called Conqueror is the name of the system, but it's the 2017 version. It is linked to our bowling machines and linked to the front desk, so we can actually from the front desk open the lanes. It communicates we're here, and then this panel, when the lane's turned on, it lights up. And the neat thing about it is every function that it has, it will only light up what you can use. So it's very user-friendly, and you can't really make mistakes. And it basically works by just reading the directions. So if you can read English, and Elaine would like that, reading, we can do whatever we want to do by adding bowlers. And another thing that's good about this system is that it allows people for fun. They can pick different backgrounds to what's up there on the monitor. But what it also does is that it monitors the speed you throw the ball. It shows you how to pick up the spares, meaning the pins that you need to pick up on your second ball. And but it's just user friendly. It's so easy to use. The old systems had codes. You had to remember 333X to do this, or where this is just simple reading English. And the people that come in now, it's just so easy for them to use, and it's not complicated at all. And it's benefited us that way because they're excited about it. And then also the graphics are pretty neat too. So, but that's the new scoring system anyways.
Now, we've talked about everything except the game itself. So when you play the game, you're going to play 10 frames. That's what it consists of. And each frame represents the pins that you have knocked down. Now, if you knock them all down, you get a strike. And if you have 2 tries on every frame. So if you knock down only 4 pins, you have another try, and then you get a spare, hopefully.
So that was a great tour, and joining me now is District Manager Dan Gallagher, and he's here to share with us a little bit more of the ins and outs and what exactly you do to help the community, because we've been lucky to be partners for the last 8 years, as Lynn mentioned. So you also kind of help to head up the Book and Bowl program,
Yes.
which is part of our summer reading program. So we are fortunate to have you on board helping out with that. Why don't you give our viewers a better idea of what that all entails?
Oh, okay. Yes. We have very much strived to get involved with the community with our bowling centers here in the Pittsburgh market. Obviously, Mount Lebanon Lanes. We went into a partnership about 8 years ago, I want to say, with the area libraries, as many as we could get involved that had interest, and actually focusing on education and reading for the children. And I think also it also includes the adults too in the community, that they can read also in this program. So we partnered up and specifically with Bethel Park Library. Very big involvement from the community there. I would have to say your library, amongst all the libraries, probably produces most of the people involved in that summer reading program.
We love our patrons, and they are
good job by you and your team
readers,
too.
yes.
Yes, and I've always felt strongly, as does Lynn, that education is key to the success of in an individual's life. But the key to getting an education is being able to read properly, and getting involved in that aspect of education, because no matter what you're learning, you need to learn, you need to look into details of what you're trying to learn, and most of that's through reading.
And I think part of that too is making it fun and giving them that incentive. So that's precisely what Book and Bowl does.
And that's what Book and Bowl does, right. we like to reward the children for reading so many books and so forth. They actually do reports too.
Yes.
And then can win awards with that also. But the whole thing is, yes, to make it fun for them, because they will get a reward at the end of the program that, hey, I did this. And I get to go bowl for a fun afternoon at Mount Lebanon Lanes.
There's that sense of achievement, and you provide the bowling party for us free
Yes.
of charge, which
Free of
we are
charge.
so lucky
Yes.
and grateful for. So thank
Yes.
you.
Yes.
But yes, Book and Bowl has just been wonderful, and I know it's only March here. We are taping the March show, and we're already talking about summer, but it will be here before you know it. And back at the
Absolutely.
library, my department is already planning summer reading events. So
And
of course,
likewise,
the bowling alley has come up.
Yes, and I'm ordering supplies right
that?
now for the program
Yes.
because along with that Book and Bowl program, we do promote our summer pass here
Right.
at
Tell
the
us
bowling
more about
center.
that.
The summer pass, yes, okay. Summer pass is basically, it's kind of like a pool pass, or maybe you buy a Kennywood pass, or
Sandcastle.
Sandcastle
Kennywood.
Pass, that would
Yep.
be another one. And but it's really inexpensive when you think about it, because on a weekend you will pay $5 plus a game of bowling. Shoes will cost you over $4 to rent, so 2 games in shoes will cost you around $16 to bowl.
Right.
Okay, at a bowling center. And we offer this summer pass, which gives, and it's for everybody, any age. The price may vary. After, I think, 16 and up is one price and under 16 is the other. Last year, if you were under 16, the pass cost you around $24. What that entitled you to was every day you got 3 games of bowling and shoes for the whole summer, from Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Sounds too good to be true,
It-
right? I mean, that's a
no-
no-brainer.
Well, yeah,
Use
it's
it-
a no-brainer. In the
Bowling twice, and you've already had, have it paid for.
That's right.
Right.
If you would pay normal prices, you would pay for that pass in 2 trips. And there's going to be 2 rainy days in the summer.
Absolutely, you
So-
know it's.
And the adult pass was like $28
Okay.
Last year. We're not really settled on the actual cost this year, but it's not going to be that much different if
Right.
it is at all.
Right.
But 3 games every day, includes the shoes. And
Great.
I mean, we try to do that too, to drive traffic into the center during a time of year where, people tend to do outside things instead
Sure.
of inside things, and we're an inside thing.
Sure.
But it also gives us an opportunity to drive programs too. These people are in our center, and we can talk to them about different programs like Learn to Bowl, maybe the traditional leagues that we have throughout the fall and winter and spring, and also our youth programs that are designed to give the kids scholarship money.
Right, and that's one of the other wonderful things that I never knew existed.
Yes.
So tell us more about the scholarship program.
The scholarship program basically runs from the ages 7 to the age of 20. Now, it's a league, and at our center, it's run on Saturday mornings now. It used to
Okay.
be, I think in our past talks and that, it was Wednesday night. But we've moved the program to Saturday because we had a whole program come from another center that will
Gotcha.
remain nameless for right
Okay.
now. But they joined our program because we do such a good job with it. We have about 40 kids in the program, all range of ages, from age 7 to 20. It's a league setup. They come in and they get taught by a certified coach, has all the backgrounds, everything, so they're able to coach. And they learn how to bowl, and they learn how to bowl competitively too. And so not only do they get help learning the history like from Lynn,
Right.
but they actually learn how to bowl competitively. And what this allows them to do is, being a junior, they get to qualify for different tournaments that are in the area. In Ohio they go to, and Indiana, PA has a big one. Pepsi sponsors big tournaments. But what they do when they win at these things is they earn money. But they're juniors, so they're not allowed to touch that money. That money's for their college education. It's a scholarship money. So all of this is done through the USBC, which is the United States Bowling Congress. United States Bowling Congress has smart accounts set up for each individual junior bowler.
Okay.
Specifically theirs. They cannot touch it until they're of
Till they're
age to go to
18?
college, right?
Okay.
Okay. And So the money, all the earnings get deposited into that child's account. And then by the time they get to college, it's there for them to use, whether it's tuition, whether it's room and board.
And it doesn't matter what college they go to. If
It
it's
doesn't matter what
community
college.
state
No,
college.
they just need to prove with receipts and such that they need that money. Okay. It might be transportation. It might be different things. Now, I'm sure as time goes on, some of those things could, change as far as what's allowed or not, but
Sure.
it would always allow for tuition and room and board. But in our junior program here at the center, at the end of each season, so they'll bowl from September through April, May, each one of those children gets scholarship money also. Definitely every single child gets scholarship money at the end of every season.
Guaranteed, no matter what.
Guaranteed some amount of money.
Tell me
Now-
the commitment. I mean, do they have to participate in so many tournaments, or?
Well, the tournaments is a whole different thing. That's something they can get out and get involved
That's
into.
additional.
They could choose not to.
Okay.
Okay, but people really catch on to it and really get the fever for it. They have their college
want to.
education paid for because they've done tournaments. Obviously, they become good, and the higher you
amazing.
place, the more money you get. And likewise with our program, the more you succeed in the program, meaning that I'm serious about learning how to bowl and I want to achieve this certain type of average.
Right.
That depends on how much money they get in our program. Okay, so on
I
their
need to know this 17
accomplishments.
years ago. Let me ask you this: can you join at any time? Can a child join?
Yes, you can join at
when
any
he's-
time. So if we're mid-season, okay, and somebody comes in maybe after the Christmas break and they say, my child wants to join. Yes, they can join. Then they will get a prorated amount.
Okay.
Okay, because
enough.
there's a fee to do it every week.
Sure.
Part of that fee is also part of the scholarship fund. Okay. Also, the center matches money into that through programs that we do in the center to raise money for the junior scholarship program. Maybe we'll do a ball raffle, and all the older
Proceeds.
league members will throw money into
Yeah.
get a ball, and so they take chances on it, and all that money goes into that fund that we distribute to the children at the end of the year. It's the only sport in the country that does this. The only sport. And think about it. You're really good in a sport, you got to hope you have some agent representing a college notice you
Sure.
to even get a chance
So-
to get a scholarship. And here you can get your whole college education paid
Right.
for
And
just
is
by
there
what you do.
Bowling in college?
Yes,
Do colleges have
some
bowling?
colleges have teams. Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Thought so.
yes. Robert Morris does.
Do they?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Again, valuable
Ex-
information. Thank you
excellent
so
program.
much. It's been very informative and very fun. So thanks for being on our show.
Yeah,
I
and look forward to the book and
the
bowl.
summer. Yes.
Get some kids to read.
Absolutely.
All
Thank
right.
you.
And adults too.
Before we get to summer, though, we have some great programs this spring. First of which, well, it's a new service that we have. It's always been difficult for patrons to come in and print from their mobile device. We've always had difficulty, but not anymore. We have a new service called Printer On that prints virtually any document or web page from your laptop, from your phone, from your tablet. The print job will be sent to our library printer and will be immediately available for you to get at the circulation desk. They have to release the print for you. All you need to
So-
do, okay, go ahead.
This is great. Like if I'm on my way to the airport and
Yes.
I didn't have my printer wasn't working at home for me to print my boarding pass,
Or you forgot it on your counter, which I have done.
which I've done as well. So you,
You can, yes, what you have to do is download the Printer On app.
Okay.
And in that app, it has a GPS locator of Printer On stations around you. So it does. You don't even have to be a library patron. If you have the Printer On app and you're like, oh, I forgot my boarding pass, where can I print this? Our library will come up as a location that's a Printer On station.
Great.
So
And it's a free app, I presume.
it's a free app. You can download the app for iPhone or Android, and then
Awesome.
you would send your print job, from your car, wherever you are, and come into the library, come to circulation desk, tell them you have a print job. They'll release it. You pay for it. You're on your way.
That's awesome.
I know.
That's a great new service.
It works really well too. So cool. Please come in and give it a try, or send it from home. I'm going to try that. I'm going to send it from home. And then when I get to the library,
it's there.
I want to
Yeah.
do a test just to see. We have sign language classes for adults. It will begin Thursday, March 2nd at 5:45 through 8:45 and continue for 14 weeks. This is a 14-week course. It's taught at a college level, and it offers American Sign Language classes for deaf and hearing patrons. This is presented by Earl Hollinshead III, whose family has been involved with the library for many, many years. We do ask that you register, and class is limited. I did check this morning, and there are still some slots left. So if you're interested in this, please don't hesitate, sign up now. We have a Maintain Your Brain seminar on Wednesday, March 22nd at 7 p.m. Did you know that recent research suggests you can delay the effects of dementia and Alzheimer's by doing certain things?
I did know this, yes. Tell us more.
Did you know that you can do it at any age?
Yes.
Which we should probably start working
Yeah.
on. So this is presented by Kevin Kramer. He's the Executive Director of Generations for Healthy Living. And in this class, which is free of charge, and it's brought to you by Senior Living Advisors, they'll teach you some exercises, brain exercises that you can do to maintain your brain. And then on Thursday, March 23rd at 7 p.m., we have digital comics and graphic novels class that Rob will be teaching. So with your library card, you can access comics and graphic novels for free. We had talked about the Comics Plus database that we have access to. But also you can get comics and graphic novels through Overdrive and through Hoopla. So Rob's going to teach you how to access them. There's thousands of titles. They're all electronic. So there's such titles as Adventure Time, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, G.I. Joe, and many, many more.
I was actually amazed at how many there were.
There really
I was
are
surprised.
a lot. There are a lot. If you can't make the class, that's okay. You can stop in the library anytime and ask a reference librarian. They'll show you how to access the databases. We have the Center for Women information sessions coming to the library on Saturday, March 25th. So one thing is like, what if you get hit by a bus? Like that's my go-to. What if I get hit by a bus? You need to know where things are. Yeah. So preparing for the unexpected, that is one of their information sessions. So you will learn what 25 documents you need to assemble to collect everything for easy access during emergency situation or a life transition. This starts at 10:30, runs through noon. Then you can have lunch on your own. If you want to come back, you don't have to go to both, but you can if you want. You can come back at 1 for 7 prescriptions for women's financial health. So this will provide a detailed guideline for assessing your financial health and how to make improvements to maximize what you're making now and what you will make in the future. And attendees to this session will receive a financial health checklist to help get them organized. Again, this is at 1. And then March is National Nutrition Month, which I did not know.
I did not know that either.
So we will have, let's see, who's coming? Oh, we have a dietitian, Melissa Pintar, who's a registered dietitian, will be at the library on Thursday, March 30th at 7 p.m. To talk about, the theme this year is Put Your Best Fork Forward. So it talks about the importance of making healthy eating decisions and even how a small change can make a huge difference over time. So that's what she's going to talk about, how to make a small shift. Like if you want a cheeseburger, maybe just have the hamburger, not have
without
the
the bun.
cheese. That's,
Or
that's
I thought you were going to say,
change.
or without the bun.
Or without the bun. You could have a lettuce wrap. I know
Yeah.
Red Robins does, I love that, a hamburger and a lettuce wrap.
Yes.
So she'll teach you more about healthy dietary behaviors. This is a free program, as are almost all of our programs. So that's what's going on this spring in the Adult Services Department.
Awesome. Well, in the Children's Department, March brings back our story times. We are back on our regular schedule. So we have toddler story time on Tuesdays, Mother Goose on the Loose on Wednesdays, Baby Jam on Thursdays, and preschool story time on Fridays. Taking that Monday morning time slot, we have Pint-Sized Pollux, which I'm super excited about. It is an art exploration program for the very young. So yes, it's messy, but it's magnificent because kids need to make a mess. They need to explore. So they will be getting goopy and dipping and swirling and exploring in paint.
Tactile is very important for young children.
It definitely is. So this is for babies 9 months old to 2 years. What we're going to do is we're just going to lay butcher paper out in the council chambers room across the hall from the library. And these paints, they're going to just get to play and paint. And these paints are all non-toxic, safe. Many are actually edible. So we'll be making paints out of yogurt. Paints out of, one of them is aloe vera gel. So easy, basic 2-ingredient recipes that you'll be able to replicate at home as well. So Pint-Sized Pollux is Mondays in March at 10 o'clock. We do ask that you register for that. Story time's no registration, but special programs, we do ask for your registration. So another special program is Pajama Party on Monday, March 20th at 7 p.m. Always fun to come to work in your PJs,
yes.
right? I've done this a couple times. So we invite you to come to the library in your PJs and your favorite pair of slippers. If you have a special blankie or stuffed animal, you can certainly bring that along as well. But Miss Jackie is going to read stories to you, play some parachute games, teach you some new songs, and just get you all snuggled up and cozied down, ready for bed.
Let's hope so. It sounds pretty energizing.
Well, it
I
is,
like
but
parachute games.
It is, but you know, if by the end of the story time, they'll be ready, settled, and ready for bed. Hopefully. We're not promising that, but so that's that. And then for our elementary crowd, these are kids in kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th grade. We have some cool programs for you as well. Think spring, especially with the weather we've been having. It's like spring is right around the corner.
It's here.
Hooray! It is here. It's beautiful this week. But officially, spring is March 21st.
Yes.
So we have a program on Wednesday, March 15th, so about a week before it officially arrives. We're going to be teaching kids K through 2 more about planting and the cycle of a seed, the life of a... and they'll actually get to plant some seeds and bring a flower pot home. So that Think Spring program is Wednesday, March 15th at 6:30 p.m. And again, it's just for grades K through 2. We have our CCA book club for 4th graders. It's actually 4th, 5th, and 6th. So if you're not familiar with CCA, it's a county-wide program. We encourage kids to read 8 titles or at least 4 titles if they want to vote. So the books have been selected. You can stop in the library to get more information on those titles. But once you read them, you are also welcome to attend the book clubs where we'll be discussing the book and doing an activity that goes along with the book. So our first 2 CCA book clubs are Wednesdays, March 8th and Wednesday, March 23rd. And then I should mention the American Girl Tea Party.
Yes, you should.
That's coming up Sunday, March 12th at 2 p.m. Tickets are still on sale. This is our, I think, 5th annual.
I think it's 5th, yeah.
And so it's a fundraiser for the library, but it's always just a special, fun event to attend. Mothers and daughters, but certainly some fathers bring their daughters as
fathers,
well.
Grandmas, aunts.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So tickets are $25 a pair and $10 for each additional. The theme this year is a birthday party. So we're going to be celebrating whoever's birthday. And certainly bring your doll along. It does not have to be an American Girl doll, but if you have one, you are welcome to bring her along. And then the other program that I want to mention coming up in April is our Art Gala. This is our 2nd annual Art Gala. It was such a huge hit last year.
It was a huge success last year.
We're going to start collecting art pieces for the gala the last week of this month. So beginning March 27th, I believe.
I better get on it. I got to get my art piece
What are you going to do
ready.
this year?
A photograph. I had a
Oh,
discussion,
that's right.
yes, about that photography is art, and so
It
I'm
absolutely
going to
is. There are
submit.
so many art forms. So whether you draw or you color or you paint or you sculpt or you photograph, submit your pieces.
Or
You do-
crochet, fiber arts.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
Good point. So where was I going with that?
Submit your piece.
Submit it by the end of March, yes. And at that time, you can let us know if you want that piece back. We will certainly return it to you. Or if you're willing to sell it, proceeds will come to the library, so we certainly appreciate that. But that's a don't miss event. Then just briefly for our tweens and teens, we don't want to forget about you. Anyone in grades 5 and up. We have unconventional art happening this month, Thursdays, March 16th and March 23rd at 6:30 p.m. So this is unconventional art, very unique pieces, like we're talking making sculptures out of toilet paper and toilet paper rolls,
I love sculpture.
things like that.
My favorite art form.
Yes. Anyone in high school specifically, writing your college essay, this is so important. Yes, it's becoming more optional at some colleges, but some still require. And a lot of times just, if it's not necessary for admissions into that college, you might be trying to get scholarships and whatnot where essays are going to come in handy. So do you know how to write a proper essay? What are they looking for? How can you improve your writing skills?
It also gives you a chance to show some of who you are. Like test scores
Absolutely.
and stuff are so flat, it gives you a chance to show some of your personality beyond
Absolutely.
a number.
Yes, and Jess Walker, who is a recent graduate of Seton Hill University, will be teaching that class for us. So that's Tuesday, March 21st at 7 p.m. And then Jess is also leading up our new book club, Novels by Night, for teens only. It's a new monthly book club that's run by you. We want you to choose the books. So there's no required reading for the first meeting on March 29th. How it's going to work is you're going to come in and read the first page of 5 or so books. And then based on your feedback, you guys will vote on what book you want to read for April. So we'll provide the books, obviously, and the snacks. You just have to bring yourself and hopefully a friend. So that's what's going on this month in March. And now...
Well, I would like to let our viewers know what's coming up, what's being released, new movies that are being released in March. So check this out.
Legend tells of a hero who will journey to find the demigod Maui. And together, they will save us all.
First, we've got to go through a whole ocean of bad. Kakamora.
Kako what? They're kinda cute.
Moana! I got your back. It's Maui time!
Hey, Pop. Can I ask you a question? How come you ain't never liked me?
Like you? What law is there say I got to like you?
None.
All right, then. I go out of here every morning. I bust my butt because I like you. You're about the biggest fool I ever saw. A man is supposed to take care of his family. You live in my house, fill your belly with my food, put your behind on my bed because you're my son. It's my duty to take care of you. I owe a responsibility to you. I ain't got to like you. Now, I don't give you everything I got to give you. I give you your life. Me and your mama worked that out between us, and liking your black ass wasn't part of the bargain. Now, don't you go through life worrying about whether somebody like you or not. You best be making sure that they're doing right by you. You understand what I'm saying?
Everything that boy do, he do for you.
It's not easy for me to admit that I've been standing in the same place for 18 years.
Well, I've been standing with you. I gave 18 years of my life to stand in the same spot as you.
Howard is a brilliant man. And he's not just a boss, he's a friend. He lost his child, and now he doesn't care if he loses everything else.
This might be the strangest thing I have ever come across. He writes letters.
Who are they to?
Howard doesn't write letters to people. He writes to things. Time. Love. Death.
You're gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm having conversations.
Death came first. She met me in the dog park.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Remember me?
I'm Time.
You wrote me because you need me.
Howard?
Ask her. Go ahead. Ask her if she can see me.
He was sitting right here.
And he just appeared, right?
I'm love. And I'm the fabric of life.
What if love, death, and time are trying to help you?
You need to talk to them, Howard. Challenge them. Just engage.
You're an interesting man, Mr. Scamander. Just like your suitcase, I think there's much more to you than meets the eye. Kicked out of Hogwarts for endangering human life with a beast. Yet one of your teachers argued strongly against your expulsion.
First trip to America?
Yes. Must get that fixed.
Anything edible in there?
No.
Any livestock?
No.
Welcome to New York.
So thank you once again, Lynn, for joining us. It was fascinating, all of the information that you provided for us. I know we learned a little bit about the background, and
I enjoyed every minute of it. You were so much fun.
Good, thank you. It's always fun for us to go on location and kind of get out of the studio and switch things up a little bit. So we appreciate that.
Oh, loved every minute of it.
Good. And thank you to everybody at home for watching us. If you'd like any more information about any of the things that we talked about on today's show, you know what to do. Go ahead and give us a call.
Visit our website.
Or better yet, stop in and see us in person. Thanks for joining us. See you next month.
Bye.